What's up, Lions fans? Tori Petry here with the penultimate episode of Tori's Take presented by Priority Health this season. It's also our final episode of the year 2020. I know, it's been a weird year for a multitude of reasons, and I think this last week might have been the weirdest football week I've ever covered. It started with parting ways with the coach for a play call that wasn't properly run through the chain of command. It proceeded with the quarantine of 5 coaches due to COVID-19 exposure, which required an interim to the already interim head coach to step in, the quarterback's coach to call plays on offense, and an assistant who hadn't called plays before to call plays on defense. And finally, ended in fielding the third-string quarterback in addition to that backup coaching staff against a playoff-bound team led by one of the greatest players of all time. I'm not sure it gets much more 2020 than that. Now, that ugly 47-7 loss wasn't on the assistant coaches who had to step in last minute. They did the best job they could do considering the circumstances. They were given an extremely difficult task. Matthew Stafford going down again in that game didn't do anything to help their case. The Lions are simply in a tough spot right now, and that's undeniable. It's just part of the path to a restart with a new head coach and a new GM. It's an uncomfortable reality you've got to deal with until you get those new guys in place. So for the fans, the thing to do in this last game against the Vikings is to look at individual performances. A few players are going to be key in this impending rebuild, and lots of you ask questions about who they are, so I'll address that and more in our questions portion. So our first question for today comes from Rick Morris. He says, I'd like to get your opinion on who the building blocks are on the defensive side of the ball going into next season. Also, one free agent not named Golladay that's currently on the roster you'd push to re-sign. All right, Rick, there's a lot there, but we'll see what we can do with it. So first off, it's hard to say who the building blocks are going to be on defense without knowing who the new coach will be. This defense was built for a specific scheme, a specific style under Quinn and Patricia. They liked big linebackers who could come up and tackle in the run game. They wanted to stop the run first and foremost. They liked playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. So if those things aren't the new coach's style, then it's likely a lot of this defense gets a total restart. So although he had a disappointing first season due to injuries, I do expect that Jeff Okudah will be a building block as the number 3 pick from last year's draft. Corner is one of the toughest positions to learn, and he was thrown into the fire this year, so I don't expect that what we saw from him is everything that he's got to give. He needs time and a real offseason, which players did not get last year. When you draft someone that high, you expect them to be a cornerstone of your defense for years to come, no matter who the coach is. So for who I'd bring back, I'm going to go with Romeo Okwara. He's by far the Lions' best pass rusher this season, and it's a position the Lions have been desperate to get production out of. He leads the team with 9 sacks this year, and he's done a lot of it without Trey Flowers drawing attention away from him. The Lions need to be able to get after the passer better than they have, and he's shown he can contribute in a big way there. Next up, Gina Mazzalupo asks, Tori, besides another tough season, what have been some bright spots for the Lions? I think Hawkinson had a great second season. Gino, you're absolutely right. TJ Hawkinson has been a star for the Lions this season, and that's why he's in the Pro Bowl. I'm glad to see him get that honor, even though he's playing on a team that hasn't won a lot of games this year. He's got 6 touchdowns and almost 700 yards with the game left to play. It's tough to find a tight end who plays as big of a role on the offense as he does. A few more bright spots for the Lions? Well, I'd say the offensive line and rookie running back DeAndre Swift. That offensive line has dealt with tons of injuries this year, but they've still been strong. Frank Ragnall's another guy with a well-deserved Pro Bowl nod, and Taylor Decker's been playing his best ball this year. Rookie offensive lineman Jonah Jackson has also quietly stepped in and excelled himself. So I'd say those are 3 building blocks for the offense, and like I said, I'd also throw running back DeAndre Swift in there. He's explosive, he can cut on a dime, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He needs to work on ball security, and I'm sure he'd tell you the same, but there's a lot of promise there for the future. All right, finally, let's take you to our extra point where we head around the league. So we'll do a little bit of a draft watch this week, since I know that's something a lot of fans are thinking about this time of year. Cleveland handed the city of Jacksonville a belated Christmas present this weekend by losing to the New York Jets. That secured the number 1 pick in the 2021 NFL draft for the Jaguars, so I hope Trevor Lawrence enjoys the sunshine. The Jets and Jags have secured the highest picks in this year's draft, so the highest the Lions could get is pick number 3 again. Currently, they are slated to pick at number 7, but we'll see how this final week of the season goes and what the Lions will be giving their new GM when he steps in. That does it for this week's episode of Tori's Take presented by Priority Health. So from Xfinity Studio, I'm Tori Petry.